Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today we're going to do a little bit of an extended Villiger Entertainment Report because I love the movie theater. I love going to the theater. I don't do it as much as perhaps I would like. Prices being what they are, my schedule being what it is, things of that nature. But I love going to the theater. I love the experience of it. I love the big screen and the sound and the popcorn and it's like the only place I eat popcorn. And the popcorn and the junk food and just, relaxing. I'm loving the big, leather recliner things that they got in all the theaters now. It's and the ability to select your seat. It's nice. I love the theater. I also love the drive-in. We've talked a lot on this show about going to the drive-in, and I'm looking forward to the drive-in season starting up again. Because there I can actually smoke cigars, which is even better. But today we're going to do a bit of an extended Villiger report because I saw a preview for a movie that is out now, or is coming out. And I was interested in it, and it got me thinking, what else is coming out this year? What is actually coming out this year that looks cool? So I looked at the list. Now, I put together a list of movies I am interested in seeing. This is not, by any means, a comprehensive list of everything coming out in 2026. It's just a list of movies I am interested in seeing. So hopefully you guys are interested in some of them as well. I would say that, go and you can find lists of what's coming out this year all over the internet. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about movies, upcoming movies, in today's show. And since it is a Villiger, basically a giant Villiger entertainment report, I figured I should probably smoke a Villiger. So today I'm going to be smoking the La Capitana, from Villiger. It's a 6x50 Toro featuring an Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and filler from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. I love this cigar in the morning with coffee. I'm smoking it at the wrong time of day, for me, because it is the evening now. But normally I smoke this in the morning with some coffee, and it's wonderful. But I'm going to smoke it now because I haven't had a cigar today, and I figure, we'll start with this and ease into this. So it's time to cut the cigar. The official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they're the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. I really don't know what else you could possibly want from a cigar website. They offer all of it, and if you've ever called the warehouse, if you've ever had an order and you just have to call them for some reason or another, you get a real live person right away. They're super friendly, super helpful, and they get you all taken care of. It's the best. I hate calling businesses these days because inevitably you're going to have to go through about 5 minutes worth of AI computer prompts where it's press this for this, press this for that, press 8 for, English, blah, 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 and all that. And so, and then when you actually do connect with somebody, you obviously have connected to a call center over in India. And look, and I'm not picking on the Indian people, they got to make a living too. But for fuck's sake, don't come on and tell me your name is Sarah. Although, it might be Sarah. Sarah's not, Anyway, don't go, my name is Mark. It's really? Is it though? But anyway, my point is, don't fuck with me. I don't want to speak to somebody who's, English isn't their native language when I have a complicated problem with whatever this business is. Not that I've ever had a problem with 2guyscigars.com, but my point is, when you call them, you get somebody at the warehouse who can actually deal with your problem right then and there, and make you happy. So it's wonderful. It's the kind of customer service you want. So head on over to twoguyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Can you tell I had an experience with a call center lately? I did. The people that spray my house for bugs, I have not been happy with this service. And the true unfortunate fact of the matter is I'm in a 1-year contract and it doesn't expire until July. So, I recognize that I'm stuck with these people for another, 5 months or so. So they're going to be coming by. I'm going to be paying them more money before it's all said and done. But I really just don't want to. And so anyway, they say in the contract that in order for it to not be like auto renewed, kind of thing, that you got to give them advance notice. So I got the notice that they were going to be coming at the end of this month to spray, which I think it's fucking stupid for them to be spraying in the wintertime like this, because I feel like I'm getting robbed, because all the bugs are either dead from the cold or already inside. So like, what are we going around my house and you're not spraying for mosquitoes at this time of year, which is literally the only thing that I actually cared about them spraying for. But anyway, whatever. That's neither here nor there. So I got the alert. They're coming at the end of the month. And so I called and I was like, hey, I want to go ahead and preemptively tell you that I do not want to continue this contract in July. And I basically was told, and I got unfortunately rather angry because it was so stupid. But I got told that I can't preemptively cancel like that. I have to wait until closer to the current contract expiration date to call it cancel. So in other words, I was giving them too much notice that I was canceling. So I don't know. It's fucking dumb. Aptiv. Don't go with Aptiv. That's all I'm saying. It's dumb. But anyway, now I'm going to light the cigar. And while I do that, you're going to hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino. Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars use authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now let's go ahead and jump right into the main focus of the show. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to villigercigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right, well, let's look ahead to 2026, shall we? Now we've had the beginning part of the year typically sucks for movies. There's usually January is usually a dumping ground for movies that they've made that they don't think are going to do too great, but let's put it out and see what it does. And usually very low budget, those kind of things. You're not getting cream of the crop movies in January for the most part. February, you start getting some romantic ones for Valentine's Day, and we go from there. But now, the big summer blockbusters start by like May, possibly even earlier. So, although to be honest, my list jumps from February to June. So I don't really have much on there that I found in March, April, or May that I was super into. I'm going to start with one that's out right now called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And it stars, it's got Sam Rockwell in it. And to be honest, anything Sam Rockwell's in, I'm all about checking out because that dude is hilarious. He's just an all-around great actor. I love him in everything. He was the commander guy in Jojo Rabbit, which I've talked about Jojo Rabbit on this show before. Like, that's a very, very good World War II movie, and one that I don't feel like enough people have seen because it's such a good movie. But what else was he in? He was on the most recent season of The White Lotus. He was in Iron Man 2. He's been in a bunch of movies. But in this one, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, Sam Rockwell is a guy that comes back to the past from like an apocalyptic future. And he's looking rather rough. And he shows up at this diner. And there's a group of people in the diner. And apparently the universe has worked its magic to where at that moment, all the people in that diner are important because if they all do what he tells them to do and they all work their magic that evening, that specific evening, they can save the world from the apocalyptic future that Sam Rockwell has come back from and is trying to prevent. So it kind of looks like it's like a sci-fi, whatever, but it's got a definite streak of humor to it. You can tell from the preview. I think it looks wonderful. Hopefully it is. So that's out right now. I need to check that out. The next movie that has caught my attention, and when I describe this, you're going to be like, what the fuck? But it actually it looks really good. It's called The Sheep Detective. And it stars, at least for a little while, Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman plays a sheep farmer. And every night before bed, Hugh Jackman will read murder mystery novels to the sheep to help put them to sleep. And then eventually, at one point, Hugh Jackman is murdered. And everyone's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And the sheep put their knowledge to the test of everything they've learned from the murder mystery novels to solve the killing of their farmer. It reminds me a lot of Babe and Babe Pig in the City, where it's got like the animals, but like when the humans aren't around, they're talking and like, whatever. Cause like Bryan Cranston, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like a whole bunch of actors are playing the sheep. And they're all like working to like solve this mystery. And then there's one cop who's like a young kid, and it's Greg from Succession. I don't know the actor's name, but it's Greg, cousin Greg from the HBO show Succession. He plays the cop, and so these sheep are having to assist him because he's kind of bumbling. They're having to assist him in trying to solve the murder of their farmer, and it looks fucking great. I'm all in on it. It looks fun. So I'm going to go see The Sheep Detective. I think that actually looks pretty good. Now, jumping ahead, we're going to move to June. We have 2 movies hitting in June that I am looking forward to. And, look, there's going to be a mix of like small movies like Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and Sheep Detective. And there's going to be a mix of big budget blockbusters that I'm interested in seeing on this as well. And that's going to start with Masters of the Universe in June. We got He-Man action coming in June. Now, look, I'm not particularly thrilled about Jared Leto playing Skeletor, but Skeletor looks fucking cool in this, in the preview. I think the kid they've got playing He-Man, a little small. I mean, at least he put on the actual muscle. But, you know, when you think of He-Man, you're thinking like fucking big. And this dude, he's put on, you know, I mean, he's in good shape, but he's not like, you know, Arnold circa Conan the Destroyer, you know, or Conan the Barbarian. You know, this is not that. We haven't achieved that level of human muscle mass. But it is what it is. It's where we're at. So, yeah, Masters of the Universe. I am super into this. It looks very faithful to the cartoon that I grew up with as a kid. And so like I'm all in for some He-Man action. Then from there, jumping to the end of June, we have Supergirl, the follow-up to Superman that came out in 2025. This is the story of Supergirl's origin, because she had a very different origin than her cousin, Superman. Superman, little baby in the rocket, flies to Earth, you know, has wonderful parents, growing up in Kansas, becomes this bastion of truth, justice, and the American way. Supergirl, although, you know, also Kryptonian, she was a teenager, and she was in a city that, like, basically, like, when it blew up, the city was in, like, a little bubble and survived on, like, an asteroid for a little while until, like, basically everybody else died. She and Krypto, this is where Krypto the Superdog comes into play. She and Krypto end up living their life. So she's had a very rough go versus Superman. You know, she's seen some things. So she's very jaded and, you know, kind of over it. So, it's kind of her like story of how she came to be and how she eventually becomes, you know, the hero, Supergirl. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that. Superman was really good. I'm trusting that Supergirl is going to be fun too. Now, also in June is a movie I didn't even know was coming. And quite frankly, some of you might laugh at me about this. Some of you might be really excited. You might be just as excited as I am. I don't know. But there's a 5th Jackass movie coming in June. And say what you will about the Jackass movies. They're funny as shit, and I will be down for seeing Jackass 5 in theaters. I will gladly hand over my money to watch these guys, which granted, yes, they're significantly older. You know, time marches on. They're like, you know, in their probably mid to later 50s at this point. But you know what? Fuck. 50, yeah, they 50s, yeah, probably 50s. But fuck it, I want to see these guys get hit in the dick. I want to see these guys playing with animals they shouldn't be playing with, and getting bit and hurt. I want to see these guys doing wacky, outrageous shit to one another. I want to see them playing practical jokes. I want to see fucking Wee Man and Preston being this like complementary duo of a little person and an extraordinarily fat person. I want to see the wackiness that comes in a Jackass movie. It's brain candy, pure as simple. It is super junk food. It is junk food for my brain, but I am here for it. I want it. I'm so happy there's another Jackass movie, especially when I didn't even know about it. That came up in my search, and I'm like, holy shit. Yes, thank you. I get a Jackass movie. So, Jackass 5 comes in June. In July, we have another Spider-Man movie. You know, as a nerd, it pains me to say this, but the Marvel movies have been just so bad since Avengers Endgame. They did so good with ending that stretch of movies, and they've done so poorly with starting another stretch of movies that you give a shit about. And I don't know if it's just oversaturation. They've done too much. But they built a machine. They built a machine that culminated with Avengers Endgame. And the problem is they've got to continue to feed that machine. But we as movie-going public, we're over it. We sat through all these movies to get to the culmination where Thanos, is defeated at the end of Endgame. And now it's like, all right, I'm good. I don't need any more. But they got to feed it. They got to feed the beast. And so they're doing it. And I don't know. It's Spider-Man. I'll go see it. Am I super jazzed about seeing it? Not as much as I should be, but I'm going to go see it. Now, this next one, I am very jazzed about seeing. This next one, I am super excited about seeing. It's one that, truthfully, I didn't think I was going to get to see. It comes out in late August. Warner Brothers made this movie, and when the new regime took over Warner Brothers a handful of years back, they came in and they canceled a lot of movies that had already been made, and they did so because even if they cancel it and never put it out, they can write it off as a tax write-off. This happened with a bunch of movies, and this was one that this happened to. But another company came along. And I'm not entirely familiar with what exactly happened. All I know is they paid Warner Brothers, I think, for distribution rights. And so they paid like $50 million or some shit for this movie in order to do this. But in late August, we are going to get Coyote versus Acme. And this is a movie about Wile E. Coyote, the coyote that chases the Roadrunner, finally deciding that enough is enough. And he's going to sue the Acme Corporation for all of their inferior goods that they have sold him over the years. And it's a mix of animation and live action. Will Forte is in this movie. I think he plays a lawyer. It looks, the little bits I've seen about it and the little bits that I've heard about it from some of the actors that are in it that were lamenting the fact that we're not going to see it, but now we're going to see it. I cannot wait to see this movie. This sounds so funny. The idea that the coyote finally gets fed up enough to sue Acme for all of the bullshit that they've sold him that failed and resulted in bodily harm to the coyote. I think that's a fantastic premise for a movie. I'm all in for it. So Coyote versus Acme comes out, I think I saw it late August. I'm all in for that. I think it looks great. And the company that put this out, they're really doubling down on the Looney Tunes. They did a movie last year. It was an animated one. It was Porky Pig and Daffy Duck, and it was The Day the Earth Blew Up, I think was the name of it. And fucking great. It was great. I'm all in for old Looney Tunes. I'm all in for the classic stuff. But, like, this was a good, like, new story. And it was done with respect to the old stuff. So, like, if you're a Looney Tunes fan, find that one if you haven't seen it, because it was really good. And be watching for Coyote versus Acme, because I would hope that one does well, considering the fight that it's been to get that movie out for us to see. All right. Then, also supposedly in August, again, I didn't know about this one. I found out about this one on my search, and I didn't know this was even a thing. But supposedly in August, we're getting a Super Troopers 3. And I'm in for that, because realistically, the first two were really funny through the first 2/3 of the movie. I find that both of them kind of whiffed the landing a little bit. Like the conclusion of both of them I thought was a little weak. But here's the thing. Even if I get a third movie where 2/3 of the movie is pretty good and the last third of it's kind of like, the ending kind of wasn't great. I'm still for it, because the first 2/3 are really funny. So, and I would actually argue that Super Troopers 2 is funnier than Super Troopers 1. Super Troopers 1, you get the establishment of some of the jokes. But Super Troopers 2, I think they went to a whole, I think they upped their game. And so if that's the case, and I think the ending of Super Troopers 2 was better than the ending of Super Troopers 1. So if that's the case, maybe they finally get the whole equation right and we get a full 3 parts of a movie, and we actually have a perfect Super Troopers movie later this year. I would be in for that. I think that would be fun. Now, jumping ahead to October, we have a entry here that is specifically for our friend Luke up in Canada there, my 635 millimeter. Terrifier 4 hits theaters in October, and I know how much he is a big fan of the Terrifier movies. He insisted that we sit through Terrifier 3 at the drive-in when he came to town in October, and it was one of the truly horrific things I've ever seen in my life. I have no desire to ever see any of these movies ever again. It was gore for gore's sake. I was repulsed by it. But by God, there was Luke, and he was watching it, and so like, I know, Luke, I know you're listening to this, and I know you're probably screaming in your car right now, but I know that you're going to be looking forward to it. Terrifier 4 hits in October. Now in November we get another Godzilla movie. We get Godzilla -0. Now, this is the sequel. It's by the same director, a lot of the same people, to Godzilla -1. Now, Godzilla -1 was a fantastic movie, and if you haven't checked that out, it's a really good movie because it not only has Godzilla, which, come on, I mean, it's Godzilla, but it had a really good like story about the Japanese people and how basically they were used as essentially cannon fodder for the government all through World War II, and how like basically at the end they kind of like realized like we got to stand up for ourselves, not just do what the government wants us to do and all this kind of stuff. And it was just a really good movie because it showed a lot of the plight of the Japanese people following the end of World War II, how they were living in slums because there had been so much damage to the country, but the government wasn't coming in to help them all that much. They had to fend for themselves, and so it was a good movie aside from the Godzilla stuff. I'm curious as to where they're going to take this next one, because they kind of look, it's a Godzilla movie. That Godzilla is obviously stopped. So they stopped Godzilla in Godzilla -1. But at the end, there's like this little chunk of Godzilla that's like irradiated and is like blobbing up and shit. And throughout the course of that movie, you kind of determine that he has the ability to regenerate and kind of heal wounds and shit. So you get the feeling that he's regrowing from this little piece. So they kind of left it open for a sequel. They're obviously doing one. It's coming out this November. Which, by the way, Godzilla -1 is the only Godzilla movie to ever win an Oscar. It won an Oscar for, I don't know if it was sound or something like that. It wasn't like Best Picture, but it won an Oscar. I mean, it's a legit good movie that just happens to have Godzilla in it. So I'm looking forward to this because -1 was like easily one of the best Godzilla movies I've ever seen. So the fact that we're getting a sequel to that by the same director, I feel like we're probably going to get some good stuff with Godzilla -0. I got 2 more left on my list. One of them I'm way more excited about than the other. And I'll save that one for last, even though technically it comes out in November. The one I'm less excited about comes out in December. In December, we have Avengers Doomsday, and this is the new Avengers movie. It's going to be the longest Marvel movie they've ever made. It's clocking in at just shy of 4 hours from what I've read. This movie is going to feature fucking everybody. Like they're desperate. You can tell Marvel is desperate, and they need another big $1 billion blockbuster because they haven't had that in a minute. And so they're bringing everybody in. They're even bringing back actors whose characters died in previous, like Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America. Well, he was done as of Avengers Endgame. They gave him a conclusion to his story. But now we're getting Chris Evans back. Robert Downey Jr.'s back. And he died in Avengers Endgame, but Robert Downey Jr.'s back. You know, it's like we're getting all this. We're bringing in the Fox X-Men. We're getting Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Ian McKellen as Magneto. And, you know, so it's like we're bringing in all these characters. And I just, like, the nerd in me is sitting back going like, dude, this is going to be fucking crazy. But, like, I just can't find it in me to give a shit. And I think Marvel has really tarnished their brand post-Endgame with all this shit they've put out. Some of the shows have been all right. Some of the shows have been really fucking bad. There's been too many of the shows. Some of the movies have been all right, but none of them have been like, oh my God, this is the greatest fucking movie ever. You know, it's just been a lot of blah for, well, shit, Endgame came out in 2019, so we're talking 7 years, 6 years, 7 years of blah, and I'm just bored with it. So, yeah, I'm less excited about Avengers and Doomsday. I'm gonna go see it because, of course, I'm gonna go see it, but I'm not as psyched. I'm more excited about seeing fucking Jackass 5 than I am Avengers Doomsday. It's just one of those things. It's just not hitting. Now, the last movie on this list is also one of those ones that I'd heard about, knew just a little bit about, didn't realize was coming out like right around my birthday. And I saw a trailer. It was only like 28 seconds. It's on IMDb. But it was just enough to get me psyched for it. And it's the John Madden movie. It's called Madden. And it stars Nicolas Cage as John Madden. They've got him in a fucking fat suit. They've got the bushy hair and everything. And like, he's trying to do his best to be John Madden, but he's also Nicolas Cage. And it looks like it could be either really, really good, or it can be so bad it's good. I don't know how this one's going to go. But I'm all in to see Nicolas Cage play John Madden. I think it's just ridiculous enough that I have to encounter this. I don't know. I'm all in for it. So that comes out right around Thanksgiving time. Is the Madden movie, which I guess is convenient, kind of good timing, because when you think about Thanksgiving, what do you think about? You think, turkey, blah, 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 but you think football. So let's put out a football biopic, I think that's an appropriate thing. So, yeah, so we have the Madden movie coming out in November. That's my list. Like I said, there are a bunch of other movies hitting this year that I did not cover on this list. Quite frankly, a lot of them just don't do much for me. Toy Story 5 is coming out this year. I still haven't seen Toy Story 4. There's a new Cat in the Hat movie. There's a bunch of animated things. A lot of animated stuff. I think there's a new Paw Patrol movie, which my kid will be, I'll take Max to that. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. I don't know how this year is going to go, for movies. There just doesn't quite seem to be as much. I will say I find out a lot about the like B and C level movies on Instagram. For whatever reason, I get I don't know if they're buying ads on there or what, but like I get posts with trailers in them, and I'm like, I don't know this movie, and then I watch it and I'm like, well, that sounds fucking good. And then I have to search those out. That's, to be honest, how I first initially heard about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, was through an Instagram post. So, Lord knows what other movies are going to come out throughout the year that I will learn about through an Instagram post, and it'll be like, oh, well, that looks cool. I'll go check that out. But for right now, that's my list of movies coming out in 2026 that I'm interested in. I don't know. TV wise, I looked on that to see what I could add to this to flesh it out a little bit and see if there's any TV shows that I'm super interested in. And there are a number of shows that are coming back with new seasons. None of them I give a shit about. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, he is doing a kind of a Spider-Man show for Amazon Prime. It's Spider Noir. Basically, it's Spider-Man if it was like in the like 1920s, and he's a like private detective, and it's all black and white and shit and whatever. So I don't know. It looks very weird, and I don't know. I'm not. It's one of the variations. I'm not into that, so we'll see. I don't know. But I guess the remaining part of Bridgerton will be coming out here in the next by the time this episode drops, it'll be coming out in, I think, like 8 days. I feel like 8 days, 6 days, 8 days, something like that. It's at the end of February, I believe, is that the remaining portion of Bridgerton season 4. So for those of you who are Bridgerton fans, you get to finish watching that. I have not started watching season 4 yet. I'm behind, but to be honest, I wanted to wait until all of them were available so that I can just sit and binge. Although Sean mentioned it when he was on the show the last time talking about it, and I've talked to a few other people, and it seems like this season of Bridgerton might have jumped the shark, that we might be a little bit over the love affair with the show. So I find that to be interesting, that maybe they, because they've committed to another 2 seasons after the one that's airing now. So like they've thrown in on Bridgerton, but I don't know. It seems like maybe some people are kind of moving on from it, but we'll see. There's a Stranger Things. For those of you who are into Stranger Things, there's an animated thing coming out called Stranger Things Tales from 85. And it's a animated thing that fits in between, I think, seasons 2 and 3. None of the voices are the actors. They found other actors to do the voices of the characters. So it's all the characters you love, but like none of the actors that played them doing their voices. So I'm kind of like not really super into that concept either. I'm all good with animation. Like some people are like, oh, it's animation. I don't care. It's a cartoon. I don't mind that. To be honest, I think more things should be animated. I don't like this whole like. I'm fine with animation. I don't like. Okay, so like the Ghostbuster movies. Do I need the new people in the Ghostbuster movies? No, I'd be perfectly fine if you gave me an animated movie with the 4 original guys. And that way we just continue those stories. I'm fine with that. I don't need, this is the new characters. I just want the characters that I know and love. Damn it. I don't need a live action Transformers movie. Give me another animated Transformers movie. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. And it doesn't even have to be computer animated. I want, like Transformers 1 that came out. Was that last year that came out? That was fucking good. And not nearly enough people went and watched that. It was a good movie. Yeah, so I'm fine with animated stuff. We don't need everything to be live action and to cost $1 billion to make so that it then needs to make $3 billion in the movie theater in order to make its money back. We don't need that. I'm fine. More things should be animated, and we should be having more low budget character pieces. We don't have enough of those either. And I know we've gotten to the point where Hollywood has to make the big budget super mega blockbusters in order to keep the wheels moving and to keep the money going. And the only place that's making the low budget character driven movies now are either horror flicks, which is why you get so many damn horror movies, or streaming sites like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all the others. They're the ones doing the murder mysteries and some of the action flicks. There's one that's out right now with Batista and Jason Momoa, and whatever. That's fine. I don't really, it's what it is. But there's all those movies. They would do all right in the theaters, but they do, I guess, better on streaming, or at least whatever. I don't know, but they don't put them out in the theaters, and maybe it's because they're not going to make $1 billion, that they're just like, well, we can't do that. We got to put out only the movies that are going to make $1 billion. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm a little bored with movies in Hollywood in general these days, and maybe that just is a state of the world, that it's like, the Hollywood's very out of touch. I mean, it really is. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe I'm out of touch with what Hollywood is in touch with, which, based upon some of the reports that you've been seeing, sounds like that's little children. But anyway, I just, I don't know. I'm not feeling a lot of stuff, but there's some stuff that I am looking forward to. But here, let's just for shiggles, you've got, okay, only one is animated, and even that, it's half and half with Coyote vs. Acme. But you've got some where are the comedies? Where are the fucking comedies these days? Super Bad, The Hangover, all those kind of comedy movies that they were coming out with, and that's not even getting in further back. You'd never see Caddyshack making a fucking theatrical debut these days. That's not even getting into the Mel Brooks. Although Mel Brooks is going to have Spaceballs 2 next year, and I think that's going to go gangbusters. By and large, you don't see comedies hitting the fucking theater ththese days. So I'm thrilled to be seeing Jackass 5 and Super Troopers. I think those are going to be great. It's all big budget shit. And it's so much horror. I understand it. They can make it super cheap, put it out, and it makes its money back plus a ton more. They're the horror flicks, if done okay enough with the proper amount of advertising, can just be huge money for these distributors and movie makers. So I get it, but I hate horror. It's not my thing, and so I don't give a shit. But so that's the thing. When I look at the list and I'm looking at what's coming out this year, if it's a horror movie, it's off the list almost right away. I mean, by and large, it's got to be a really unique horror flick to punch through and to get to me. The Monkey was a fucking great movie, and it was a horror movie, but it was a very dark comedy as well. So you got to give me something unique for me to be in on a horror movie. You give me the next version of The Conjuring, or the fucking Nun, or the little doll, or whatever the hell. I don't care about any of that. I don't give two shits about any of that. But if you give me something unique like The Monkey, where, it's both horror but also really funny, I'm good with that. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm sounding like an old man yelling at the sky and lamenting the fact that movies aren't how I want them to be. So I guess I'll give up on that. But that's where we're at. So anyway, that would be the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. We're looking at what comes out. Like I said, what are you guys looking forward to? I don't know, of those movies, I don't know, where I'm going to see it, be it the theater or the drive-in. I would hope the drive-in has a good selection. The drive-in has done a really good job of supplementing current movies with old movies. That has helped me at the drive-in because I don't care about some of the current movies, but the old movies, some of the old movies they pick and choose to run are actually really fun. So, that's cool. I'm fine with that. But anyway, yeah. So let's move on and do this now. It's Friday, which means it is time for a Pinky Fun Fact.
Hey, it's your girl Pinky. Ready for a fun fact? Jelly beans look shiny and delicious, but do you know what gives the candy its shine? The coating is made from a concoction that includes insect shit. This has been Pinky, and I'll be back next time with more fun facts.
Let's be real. There's insect shit in probably most things that we consume. I mean, the FDA has allotted amounts of just bugs in general that can be in our food, much less insect shit. There's probably a certain amount of rodent droppings that are allowed into our food and things like that. So that doesn't shock me. I just don't need it pointed out. But yeah, it's a whole thing. I swear. Boy, there's another thing. I'm gonna be the old man yelling at the sky again for a moment. There's another thing. Food has not been good lately. I am at the point now, nothing sounds good. Nothing sounds appealing. Nothing hits, and I'm just like, oh, this is a great meal. I haven't had a truly outrageously good meal in quite a while. It's just been fuel. It hasn't been, oh my God, this is like a meal that I'm enjoying. I don't want it to end. I'm savoring every bite. I'm picking out flavors of this and that and whatever. I haven't had a good, legitimately good meal in so long. And it's not like, oh, Nick, you're not eating a bunch of fried shit, blah, blah, blah. It's not even that. It's just, it has nothing to do with that. Truthfully, the fried shit tastes even fucking worse to me now these days. But yeah, it's been bad. Food in general, going out, when somebody's like, hey, you want to have lunch? Where do you want to go for lunch? I have no clue. I don't give a shit. I don't want to give a shit. I don't know. I don't, nothing sounds appealing. Nothing sounds good anymore. I've been hitting up Smoothie King a lot because just having a fucking smoothie is enough for me. You throw some protein in that. You throw a few other things in that. I get my sweet, I get the fruit. I'm good. I'm fine. It's boring, but, and don't even get me started on, how much A, they charge for that, and B, the level of customer service at the local Smoothie King I've got, but that's neither here nor there. But no, in general, it's not, nothing sounds good. Nothing tastes good these days. I don't know if you guys are encountering this, but like, the whole concept of going out to eat, just, I don't want anything to do with it. And then when you add in the fact that food costs so much these days, it costs so much to go out to eat. It's ridiculous. I took my kid, he loves Chipotle, which I used to until I went there so much with him that now I'm burned out on it. But for whatever reason today, he wanted Qdoba. Like, I'm taking him home to his mom's house, but we're going to grab lunch beforehand. And for whatever reason, the little guy wanted Qdoba. Now, it's on the way to his mom's house, so I was cool with that. And it's essentially the same fucking thing. Let's be real. It's just dressed up a little different. So we go to Qdoba. I get him a burrito bowl. And I get 2 large drinks. One for him, one for me. That's it. A bowl and 2 large drinks. $20. $20 fucking dollars for 1 bowl and 2 drinks. Which means if I would have gotten a bowl, we would have been looking at like just over $30. So that's just unreal to me that a dude and his kid can't go out to eat and have essentially fast food for under $30. It's just, it bothers me greatly. But it's where we're at. And the only way it's going to get fixed is if we stop doing it. But, you know, a lot of people live lives where they don't cook. I'm one of them. I don't really cook. But at the same time, I really don't want to have any of that shit to eat. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a mess. But, all right. Well, this has turned into me just, old man Nick grousing at the sky. The socials. I am available on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun there. It's a private group. Find that. Request to join. I'll let you in. And from there, you can start posting all of the cigars that you are enjoying and interacting with everybody else. It's a fun time. It's a good little group. We're on Twitter/X. You can watch this on Rumble and YouTube. I got an email today about Apple podcasts eventually starting video on their platform. I guess similar to how Spotify does. I don't know. I'm going to look into that for you guys. I don't know if that's going to work or not because it's uploaded through my host, which I don't know if they do that. So there's a lot of questions, but if I can do that, then eventually I'll be on Apple. But for right now, you can watch it on YouTube and Rumble. And otherwise, give the hotline a call at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000 or Tofu Pie 0000. Give the hotline a call with for Ask the Pulpit episodes. You can call me with your comments, questions, suggestions, grievances, whatever you may have. You can call me and tell me that I've been an old curmudgeon in this episode. You can call me and tell me, dude, no, you're spot on. Hollywood sucks these days and nothing they're putting out is entertaining. I don't know, whatever. Maybe you have a restaurant suggestion of a place I haven't tried that maybe you think I might like. I don't know. I'm also surrounded by a bunch of chain restaurants. I don't have a lot of mom and pops. If I want a mom and pop place, I got to go over to Missouri for it. And then it becomes a whole fucking adventure. And I really don't want to do that a lot. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that's the hotline, Tofu Pie 0000. Oh, and for the newsletter, head on over to cigarpulpit.com. Little pop-up box comes up there, and it'll ask you to sign up for our free newsletter. It comes out once a month, maybe twice a month. It's full of all kinds of fun stuff. Get in on the fun there. Head on over there, sign up for the newsletter, and enjoy that. Speaking of enjoying, I've been enjoying my La Capitana. I would have liked it with coffee. I'm at the point that I will say I should have had this with coffee. I wasn't going to make coffee this late at night, but yeah, coffee would have been the proper pairing with this cigar. Nice coffee with some cream. But it's a good cigar. It's a Connecticut, but it's got a little bit of oomph, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of strength to it, just enough to kind of push it past your normal Connecticut into like a Connecticut that knows somebody kind of range. It's good. I dig it. It's been a, good cigar for this episode. It's mild plus, I'd say mild plus. But no, it's a good cigar and I dig it. And if you haven't had it, then you should look for it. It's got this nice little teal band with the Captain Lady on it. It's a fine cigar. So anyway, well, guys, this has been a show. I was trying really hard to come up with a topic for this one, and this is what I came up with. So, my goal here soon is to start getting some people scheduled. I mean, my God, we're coming up at the end of February already. So we're going to be coming into March, and basically in March, we're going to start thinking about gearing up for PCA, which is in mid-April, So it might be getting time to start talking to people about what new stuff's going to be coming out. So yeah, we're on the march through the year. March. Anyway. So yeah, it's advancing rapidly. I can't believe it. It feels like just yesterday we were doing Thanksgiving, and now here it is post Valentine's Day and moving into March. So I mean, it's time marches on. But anyway, I've said March a lot. I just said March like 80 times in one section there. So I'm done. I'm out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Stay safe and stay smoky. And if any of you come through the St. Louis area during the summer and want to go and check out a flick at the drive-in, they do it at the during the summer when school is out. I think they do it like every night except maybe Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Mondays are fantastic nights to go because, granted, you're out late, but there's like nobody there, and it's wonderful. You practically get the parking lot to yourself, and you can just spread out with all your snacks and drinks and cigars and just make a giant, little campsite for yourself. It's great. But no, if anybody's coming through St. Louis area and they want to go check out a flick at the drive-in this summer, hit me up. Talk to you. Bye.